To ask my colleagues to support Senate Bill 1. Pennsylvania's current open records law was enacted in 1957. And although some improvements have been made through the years, most of the law remains the same today. Madam President, during my time in the Senate, I've seen an increasing degree of cynicism and distrust of state government. Part of that has been focused on the way the state conducts its business, because it has not always been an open process that people can easily access and follow. Pennsylvania has implemented many important government reforms this year. For example, the state Senate now posts more information than ever online, giving the public easy access to any roll call votes and the full text of our debates. The Senate also approved legislation to increase penalties for violating the Sunshine Law, to eliminate lame duck voting sessions, and to prohibit bonuses for state employees. All of this, Madam President, was done with strong bipartisan support. But the true foundation of government reform is a strong open records law. Today, we have the opportunity to establish that foundation. Pennsylvania needs a stronger open records law because openness builds trust in government. Transparency gives the public the ability to review government actions, to understand what government does, to see when government performs well and when government should be held accountable. Since its introduction in January, Senate Bill 1 has been amended 4 times, reflecting input received from a wide range of interested parties, including the Pennsylvania Newspaper Association, Common Cause, the County Commissioners Association, and other organizations representing local governments, law enforcement, private individuals, and businesses, members of the Senate, members of the House, and the Governor's Office. The current version of the bill makes many important changes to the process of obtaining public records in Pennsylvania. It creates an open records clearinghouse in the Department of Community and Economic Development to provide information, training, and advisory opinions on open records. It improves the appeals process, making it easier for a citizen to challenge an agency's decision not to release a record. It reduces the time period for response by a Commonwealth agency from 10 days to 5 days. It increases financial penalties for noncompliance. It requires the clearinghouse to establish a standard fee for photocopying records and to create a standard form that can be used to request records. It gives the clearinghouse a real foundation of independence by requiring the governor to appoint an executive director who serves for a term of 6 years. Senate Bill 1 also makes dramatic changes in the records available from various government agencies. State-related universities are required to provide information from the federal Form 990 and to provide information on the highest 25 salaries of employees at the universities. Judicial agencies are required to provide financial records. Legislative agencies are required to provide 17 different categories of records. For executive agencies and local agencies, Senate Bill 1 reverses the presumption of access to records and puts the burden of proof on a government agency denying access to a record. This is the one change that many advocates of open government consider the most essential. It provides a list of 28 plainly stated exceptions for executive agencies and local agencies. These exceptions include such things as criminal investigations, social security numbers, personal financial information, and individual medical records. Senate Bill 1 also requires the posting of state contracts in a searchable online database. This will give citizens unprecedented access to the details of state spending. This provision comes from Senator Corman's Senate Bill 914. By any objective measure, Senate Bill 1 is a vast improvement over Pennsylvania's current open records law. Despite the good that is being done, there will be critics of this legislation, as there are with almost every major bill. I would like to briefly address a few of the criticisms. First, the legislature and judiciary are treated differently than the executive agencies and local agencies. Some think that the legislature and judiciary should be treated the same. I do not agree. Each branch of government has a unique set of constitutional responsibilities, and the structure of Senate Bill 1 respects those differences. Most other states give the legislature separate treatment in their open records laws. Even those states which on the surface treat the legislature the same as the other agencies often have one or more exceptions crafted to exempt a wide array of legislative records. Senate Bill 1's language dealing with the legislature is based on New York law. The University of Florida's Citizen Access Project ranks all 50 states on a wide variety of open records issues. Under this ranking of legislature, they have 3 states tied for the highest rank. One of those 3 states is New York State. This bill would make even more legislative records available to the public than in New York, and it includes access to the legislature's financial records. Another criticism of Senate Bill 1 is the fact that it removes criminal penalties which have existed since the current law was adopted. This was done because we can find no evidence of a single criminal prosecution under the 1957 law, and because the ACLU and the Attorney General of Pennsylvania agreed that criminal sanctions were an inappropriate remedy. Although Senate Bill 1 removes the criminal penalties, it also significantly strengthens civil penalties for noncompliance and makes it easier for a plaintiff to recover attorney's fees if an agency acts in bad faith. I believe these are things that will have a practical, meaningful effect on people's ability to obtain records. Madam President, the Senate of Pennsylvania can be proud of what we are doing today. Reform may very well have been the word uttered most often in this building over the past year. There is no other reform that comes close to matching the impact of a strong open records law. I would like to thank several members for their efforts in improving this bill, including Senator Jeff Piccola, Senator Gib Armstrong, Senator Anthony Williams, and Senator Bob Mello. I would also like to thank Kathy Aiken and Eric Arneson and my staff for the countless hours they've spent working on this bill. Madam President, I ask for an affirmative vote on Senate Bill 1.